Mm-mm. Hold on, y'all. Okay. There's something very, very weird going on. I don't know. Like with you. Okay. All right. This is like inter office type of thing. But okay. When I when I develop the show, when I create the show, I go to YouTube Studio, and that's when I put it on my desktop to start the show. Well, yesterday it wasn't working. It's coming up as a draft on my on my studio, and yesterday's show never showed. It's still not showing up in the studio. So it's like that show is like in space somewhere. I can't edit it. I can't do anything with it. It's like I don't own it, and it's doing the same thing today. As a matter of fact, the chat that y'all in right now is from yesterday's chat when I was trying to start the show. So I don't know. I don't know what's going. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Like that's what I need to take care of. Can y'all even hear? Do y'all hear what I'm saying? I think y'all should because I see y'all in the chat. But y'all got to give me a heads up because I don't really know what's going on here, and so I don't want to continue. Okay, yes, you can hear me. You can see me too. I gotta actually ask. Okay, now it's showing up in the studio. So I think I know what's going on here. I think they changed a little bit of their user interface and whatever. All right, we just gonna get started. All right, man. Father's Day. First of all, let me start off by saying happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. If you have a seed out there, if you have babies out there, if you have children out there, if you have children that you have taken care of, if you have children that you care about and you have jumped in and helped them to develop, to raise them, to teach them, to protect them, to show them the way, to guide them, to lead them. Happy Father's Day to all of y'all. Now, you know, Father's Day is an anomaly. It ain't like Mother's Day. Everybody comes out for Mother's Day, and Father's Day, they kind of, as far as the media is concerned, they skirt the issue a little bit. It's almost like the father has a little asterisk in the family, but it's not really like that. If you grew up in a family where your father was active, where your father was always in your life, where you knew that there was love, protection, and direction, then, you probably look at Father's Day a different way than somebody who may have grown up without having a father in their lives, without having that integral piece that every family should have. Listen, children are created by two parents. There's no reason that you should only have the experience of having one parent. But we know that that's the world that we live in. And I don't know how to reverse that or if that can even be a conversation about reversal. The best that we can do is make it better for our situation. That's the best that we can do. I don't understand this whole chat thing. But it's here. I'm here. Y'all here. That's why I was hesitating with starting the show. Like, there's really no reason that that the show shouldn't have started on time. There's no reason why this show shouldn't have started on time. But I didn't know if it was going to happen at all. Great. I didn't know if it was going to happen at all, but I'm glad it did, and I'm glad to see y'all. What up? What up, my peoples? What up? What's good? What's good? T carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And yo, I said my brother Ansel Jones. Yeah. Clay. What's up, y'all? Vic. So we are here. Yo, let me make this message clear. Father's Day, Father's Way, Manhood's Way. We gonna talk about that today, yeah. Yeah, I feel great. And I'm in a good state. I make sure that everything's fine. I'm going for yours like I hope you go for mine. Cause as long as we connected, we can always do something that's respected. So right now, right here, let's get it. Let's make it clear. And it's up. Everything is gonna be all right. Positive like the word, yup. I said yeah. Right here, like SWV. Yo, we are right here, just the way it's supposed to be. We take it to another level, hanging out with the divinity every day, not the devil. But the devil is always working, but the positive be working too. And I knew a lot of cats that got it popping, so we gonna do this thing just like it's dropping just like a rock in some water. Yo, to all the sons and daughters, let's honor these fathers today if you can. I hope that he was around you and handle his biz, cause the way it is out here. Yo, keep it rocking, yeah. What we got, y'all? What we got? What's that? Caitlin DeVillers? Caitlin DeVillers. What's good? Y'all? How y'all feeling? Y'all good? We good? Levels is good. Didn't eat yet, yo. Right now, just gonna take a seat and bet my money that it's gonna be alright. Keep the dinging tight. I came here just to show you that I'm top tier. And even if I was in the middle, I would keep on working right here. Yo, so the name is more than the fame. Some think it's really all about the money until that shit runs out. You realize, yo, done it. You gotta keep it popping any way that you can. Manhood is not something that you can act like that. It's not important. We're gonna keep this thing smoking up like a Newport wind. But it's bad for your lungs. So I ain't gonna talk about that shit. I'm gonna delete that, hun. Act like it was never said. You're trying to get into black and never the red. Let me get abstract, talk about the sun, moon, and the stars. Let's get into that. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, freedom. What you know about that? Powers after that, you're gonna need them. Your wisdom, understanding. Yo, I don't demand it. Build and destroy, take it back. 7, yes, 7, God. You understand? Yeah, life is hard. Forgot about equality. On cipher. Supreme mathematics. We all know about the supreme mathematics, man. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, freedom, power, equality, God, build and destroy. Born cipher, baby. Supreme math. Yo, say that shit. And I know the half. Build on 120. Make sure you get the money, but the money's not as important as your peoples that you have in your heart, and you're going to make sure that from the very start, that's what's going to keep you always up in the game. And when things happen, yo, they're going to mention your name because they knew that you could get them out of that spot because you always putting your effort, gave it all you got. Yo, keep it popping, yo. Hey, sorry about the lack of rhythm, man. I'm going to get it right. All right. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Sunday from 2 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is Sunday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, then something must be wrong with your tongue and your teeth. What's up with you? I mean, then you just say Omar with the R. Yo, this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show, man. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should as well. Today, we talk about Father's Day, Manhood's Way. Father's Day, Manhood's Way. Father's Day, Manhood's Way. Yo, gotta put the things together today. How you gonna be a father and you ain't a man? Yo, you trying to do that shit? Come on, take a stand, brother. You gotta act like you got the testosterone. You know what I'm talking about. Leave me alone. I'm struggling today, but I'm gonna win. And I made sure that from the very beginning that I kept my eyes on the prize. So I looked at the guys that called my father. They was wise. I ain't saying that they knew everything, but they knew so much. They remind me of my only king. Speaking of kings, maybe we should call them something better than that so they can't steal our things. You know, because every time they try to bastardize the words that we saying, it makes me lift up my eyes and ask how come we can't have nothing for myself. The things I got for myself is my knowledge and health and also my wealth. But I ain't got a lot, but I use what I got and I still blow up the spot. So when I talk about manhood, yo, ain't no manhood that can't stand good. Because when you present yourself as a man, then you know that 10 toes down, you gonna take a stand and you always gonna be there for your respect. And anybody that tries to disrespect just can't connect. You might not always be understood, but what we talking about today, we talk about manhood, fatherhood. Put the two together, you should get a family, nuclear family. Yo, regardless of whether anybody is ever doing everything that they supposed to, well, I do. You fill in the holes that somebody else dug, because that's what a dad does. Give me a hug. Yeah, I can show affection, but I'ma show connection and make sure that I provide with the money and protection. Not just the money, because we be reducing ourselves to just our wallet. And let me tell you, that's not the pilot to the plane that I'm trying to fly, but I'm trying to be fly. And you know why. So let's make it a good look, whether it's the Quran, Torah, or the good book. Keep on reading and keep on needing and supply where it gotta go. No, stop the bleeding, because we can't bleed out. Yo, get the read out. Yo, I know things that I want and things I need out. All right, y'all. So y'all ready? We good? We good. Let me tell y'all something. All right. So when I was on Blog Talk and I wasn't even on video, I used to do a show every year called Father's Day, Father's Way. And I had gotten away with it because I felt like I really had pretty much, every Father's Day, I had pretty much drained the swamp or, squeezed all of the juice out of all of my feelings about fatherhood and whatever. But when I was doing those shows, when my father was alive, that was when my dad was alive. So after 2021, you know, in my mind, I'm still the same man that I was when my dad was here. But anybody who knows me knows that, yeah, it's not the same. I mean, I didn't lose everything, but I definitely I lost a central piece of my life that was important to me. And me being myself, I'm just, talking to y'all about, some real shit about the way I feel. Um, I haven't really, I feel like I've mourned my dad. I've definitely grieved him, but I haven't honored him. And I didn't really realize I didn't. And I think I didn't honor him as much as I should have or could have, is because that was a way for me to separate from the pain of, that I felt of losing him. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad, me and him was like this. That was really, 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 really my man. And so, anybody who has lost a parent, you can't get that back. You can't get that back. Yeah, I can have an old head that's cool, and that can be like a father figure. But when you've had a real one, and I had two, I had a dad and I had a stepdad that stuck to me like you see these drums together, they was like that. Like, yo, you not getting away. And they loved me and they believed in me and they inspired me and they cheered me on at every turn. So, that's not an easy thing to get, from just anybody randomly. So, yeah, I know I'm not the only one who's ever experienced this. And this is not something that just a man can experience. Many women that were close to their fathers, they feel the same way. And they may have looked for traits of their father in other men that they've dealt with or whatever. And that could have been what attracted them to the men that they have been with or that they fell in love with or whatever. So, when my dad was alive, there were a lot of things I didn't understand about how the things that he did, the way that he moved, maybe the way that he felt and things like that. I think I have a better understanding of it today, even if I don't understand to the point where I would duplicate that, follow that, like understanding doesn't mean doing the same thing. It doesn't mean that you have adopted it. It means that you know why. Maybe you know why, and maybe you have accepted that that's what that thing does. I got a picture of you. This shit is crazy. Because last night, I decided to take a walk. I decided to take a walk. 11 o'clock last night, I started getting my steps on. I like to walk anyway, to clear my mind and whatever. And so, what I've noticed? If y'all have seen this in y'all city, in y'all town or whatever, cockroaches be out at night. What's up with cockroaches? Look, when I say cockroaches, I'm not talking about the regular brown, the little small brown household roaches. When I say cockroaches, I'm either talking about the red ones that fly or the big water bugs, because they are cockroaches. A lot of people don't know that water bugs are roaches. A lot of people don't know. Now, what I've noticed is that little household roaches, I never see little household roaches eat. Have you? But these cockroaches, they get busy. The red ones, the black ones, they be like, yo, I'm looking for a grub. I don't know what the little brown roaches. I'm like, I've been in houses where there were thousands of them. And I'm like, but I don't never see them eating nothing. I swear, I never. The only time I've seen the little brown roaches eat is when we rented to these tenants that was smoking weed back in the day. And they had all of the blunt ashes, the blunt fillings. They had all of the tobacco in this big ass ashtray. And it was mad roaches in it. They was eating the tobacco. I was like, these roaches is unhealthy. I don't see y'all eating none of this. There's plenty of nastiness in this apartment to eat. They was in that tobacco. I was like, yo, was it a Philly blunt? Was it a Dutch Master? Was it a black backwood? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so I saw these roaches. And I don't know what made me take a picture of these roaches last night, but I had to do it. So look at here. Now, if you look closely, now the big black ones, you know, the big back shiny, those are the cockroaches. And the little specks on the rainbow colored food that they was eating, I don't know if that was like a Laffy Taffy. I don't know what that was. Those are ants. So the roaches and the ants getting busy together. I ain't gonna say they was in harmony, but this is outside. Oh, I got another picture too. Yeah, here go the other picture. So, you know what I mean? They was getting stupid out there. But everywhere I walked last night, I'm looking down. I'm like, yo, when roaches start? What's good? What's good? What's up with cockroaches, man? What you know what I mean? Are they making a comeback? Is this the cockroach comeback? Cockroach comeback? Cockroach cock. Yo, we right here. We're not going anywhere. We're right here. Yo. We're right here. We're right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Cockroaches doing their thing. See, when they big backed it and red and flying, they gotta be a cockroach. Them household roaches. I'm like, that's not a cockroach. That's just a roach. You know what I'm saying? They just a roach. That's baby. They the babies. You know, them big black ones, the red ones. The ones you don't really want to step on. Like, no, these are my good shoes. I ain't stepping on that shit, nigga. You crazy. Nigga, you crazy. Stepping on that motherfucker. First, a lot of people be scared of them shits anyway. You know what I'm saying? They running from the big cockroaches like, oh, whoa. The red ones, I think everybody look at the red ones like they look like they can fight. The water bugs, people don't really think about water bugs as cockroaches. Like, they very unassuming to be black. Like, they just be like, yeah, it was raining down here in this basement. And, you know, I mean, you got some leaks down here, so I'm just down here. Man, you know, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just a water bug. You know what I mean? We didn't even call them roaches. I didn't find out that they was cockroaches till I went in science class. I was like, that's a cockroach. Water bugs are cockroaches? I'm like, yo, they've been living on the low. Like, we just cockroach. I'm just water bug. You know what I mean? I'm like a beetle. I'm like a ladybug. You know, I ain't doing nothing. Don't be mad at me. I mean, water bug. And why did we call them water bugs? And I never saw them swim. Did y'all see them swim? I never saw a water bug. All right, anyway. I went out last night, you know, took a walk, and I saw these cockroaches. And you know, I'm thinking like, look, cockroaches and the ants, they both eating together. They eating. They both black. They both black. And what happened to the big ants? Why all I see is those little baby ants? What happened to full-grown army ants? What happened to the army ants? What happened? Is it just me? Is it a Philly thing? Did Philly do something? Did something happen to the ecosystem where we got rid of all the real ants? I mean, what happened to the full-grown ants? If y'all know something, let me know. Let me know. Tom says, why do you think your mother and Big Mama was always cleaning? Hey, listen, I'd have been in clean cribs that still had roaches. Explain that. They go where the food at. I swear, I've been in clean houses where it was still roaches. You know what I mean? It might have been roaches next door, though. You know what I mean? Like, these ain't my roaches, but they be hanging out. Hey, have a popsicle, bitch ass. All right. Theme song number 2, right here. You know, it's DMX, right? Ah, man. Lou says, save me. I don't know how. Vontago, what up, Vontago? Carla, what's good, y'all? All right, so y'all ready? We gonna go ahead and talk about this fatherhood, manhood thing. Yo, you know what I mean? We gonna talk about this fatherhood thing, manhood thing. What are we really talking about? What are we really talking about? Derek Rivers says, can the second choice on the poll be one of the 3 or all 3? Nah, I don't like to do all of the above because you know why? Because everybody would choose that. Yeah, like, don't think I'm not cognizant of, you know, the all of the above. I don't like all of the above. I make you choose. Because I have to choose. Think about if you could. Okay, now I understand if you're saying that maybe your system, maybe your situation calls for all of the above, but when you really think about it, one of the choices is stronger than the rest of them. You know? So in real life, it can be all of the above or a semblance of it. But, you know, I make you choose. You know what I'm saying? You know, choose one or the other. One or the other. Think about it. In your life, somebody has made you choose one or the other. What's it going to be? No, you can't have both. And no, it can't be. Shit, I've taken exams in school where all of the above was an option. And guess what? That got it wrong. Difference between an A and A minus. Difference between a B and a C plus. So, you know, we got to know. We got to know. What about the lightning bugs? Where did they go? No, we still have lightning bugs, man. We still have lightning bugs. Because I've heard a lot of people say, yo, we don't see lightning bugs like we used to. But you know why we don't see lightning bugs like we used to? Because we're not children like we used to be. We're not out there. We ain't outside like that. Every time, think about it. When we saw lightning bugs, it's because we were outside playing. We were outside playing. We wasn't jumping in cars, going into to parties and all that kind of stuff. We were outside. So yeah, the lightning bug's still out there, but you're not going to see them because you know. But then again, if you live out in the country or if you live in like a rural area, or maybe even just the suburbs, and you sit out on your porch, you probably expect to see some lightning bugs, and you should see some. And, you know, my daughter called lightning bugs fireflies, and I was like, what's that? I mean, I know that that's their official. We're not called. It's a lightning bug. And as a matter of fact, we're saying it wrong. We're saying lightning bug. It's supposed to be lighting bug, from what I understand. But we say lightning bug. So not only is it light, we talk about electricity. It's a lightning bug. It's the lightning bugs, eh? Oh, man. Tom says the ants are playing their role like the country, playing the role like Iran. The country, they're ready to take over when the time is right. Ooh, Goomba says, what about lightning? What about lightning bugs? Where'd they go? Tom says, yes, in those clean houses. Think about think about next door why your mother always told you you didn't eat in the bathroom. And what did you eat in your bedroom? True, true. My mom is an American. My father had a green card, dark skin from Europe. I'm born abroad. Over a decade, Texas is a weird place. Is one weird place. I suggest you get out of Texas. It is a weird place. I don't like Texas. I've never been to Texas and I don't like Texas. I don't like Texas history. I don't like the information that I get out of Texas. Fuck Texas. But yeah, it's too big. It's stolen land. But you know, I ain't gonna get into all that. We used to catch them and put them in mason jars. Yep. With a little bit of grass in there, some weeds. That was it. Pops all day. My sister came to me and said, Fam's needs $500. Pops needs $500. Who would you give the $500? Oh, okay. I said, no question. I'll give it to Pops. No question. Give it to my Pops. So if your sister needed 500, somebody in the family needed 500 and your dad needed 500, who would you give it to? Yeah, I would give my dad 500 too. Carla said, I made plenty of rings with lightning bugs. I like the little pictures of those are ants, right? The ants. You need a lightning bug emoji. That'd be cool. So only black people will connect improper with slang. Yeah, that's why I like black people. That son, I believe Texas is almost worse than Mississippi. It is worse than Mississippi. Shit, Texas is the only reason we have Juneteenth. You can't even blame Mississippi on that. Plus, a lot of good things came out of Mississippi, besides racism and slavery and cotton. Like, Mississippi is responsible for blues and jazz. Can't take that away from them. A lot of good black people came out of Mississippi. What good black people came out of Texas? UGK? Chameleonaire? Destiny's Child? Okay. Chopped and Screw, DJ Screw. Yeah? That's what we want to go with? Popularizing scissor. No, actually, that was sick. That was 3 6 Mafia that kind of popularized it. We had been doing pancakes and syrup in Philly since the 70s. Like when the rest of the world act like that shit just came out, we was like, that was a South Philly thing. They don't do that in all of Philly. All right. So this father thing. First of all, let's do it from this angle. First of all, I want to honor all of the great fathers out there, including my own, both of them. I want to honor them. And when you think about it, like, how do you honor your father? How do you honor? Like, what does that mean? Is that talking about them? Is that doing something to keep their legacy alive? Is it doing something? Is it representing them in some type of way, in ways that they would have approved of when they were alive or when they were here? And of course, wait a minute. Let me make something clear, because not everybody has lost a father. You know, I mean, there are plenty of fathers that are still here, like me, and like Time, and like maybe Ansel. Ansel, you got kids? I'm not sure. Clay, you got kids? Anyway, there are plenty of people whose dads are still alive. You know, I don't want to act like, you know, everybody lost their father or nobody grew up with a father or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do that. But yeah, so even whether your father has passed away whether he's alive. What would honoring your father really mean? What is that? What would that mean to you? Y'all can put that in the comments. And I thought about this. Like, if I honored my dad, what would I do? Well, I would probably speak of some of the things about him that I really admired and what those were. Now, my dad was a 33rd degree Mason, but I wasn't impressed by that. And I'm not even sure he was impressed by it because he didn't talk about that a lot. He had the Shriners thing hanging up and the 33rd degree thing. And 33rd degree is the highest you can go. And he was in the Scottish Rite. Most black people are in Prince Hall. He was Scottish Rite. So, in Illuminati, in the Masons, you have Scottish Rite, York Rite, and Prince Hall. Prince Hall is where normally all the black Masons are. He was Scottish Rite. So I'm like, how are you getting that? And you made a 33rd degree? So, but like I said, that's not what impressed me about him. If I was honoring my dad and I was thinking about the impact that he had in this world, I would talk about the things that he actually did to people. Did for people. And one thing that he did with his real estate practice was he provided low income housing. And that's not an easy thing to beat. He did not go for the money when it came to rent. I'm not saying that he didn't collect his rent, but he didn't try to raise rents. He didn't raise rents very often. And when he did, it was still very, very reasonable. But he recognized the importance of our people having places to live. So in doing that, he literally fought off homelessness. He would make deals. He would make deals and concessions for people who were low income or who couldn't pay. A lot of our tenants paid with food stamps and Social Security checks and things like that. Literally. I can't count how many elderly and mentally ill would come into our office and literally sign over their SSI checks. And he would never take your last money. So if he saw something wasn't working with you, he would actually help you to get services. Like people who couldn't pay the rent, he would refer them to Tenants Action Group, which was an agency that helped people pay their rent when they fell behind. And so he helped a lot of people in that regard, and a lot of people recognized the help that he gave them. So I was impressed by that. And my dad was never the type to talk down about people. You just didn't hear him talking about how somebody wasn't shit or whatever. And if he did ever talk like that, you can best believe they had it coming. He wasn't a gossiper. He wasn't, yeah, I heard. He didn't do that. He wasn't about that life. And so to me, that displayed a lot of manhood. A man looks out for his family. A man provides for his family. A man provides and looks out for his community. And he did that through being a landlord, which is not an easy thing to do. Was he ever called a slumlord? Plenty of times. Plenty of times. Did he fit the bill? None of the times. None of the times. He was very, very reasonable. If you couldn't live in one of my dad's places, you probably couldn't make it on the street either. Let me see. Carla, I see that those emojis, that's pretty close to a lightning bug. I like it. It's green. The ones we was looking at, the light was kind of yellow, but I'll take this. I'll take it all day. Tom says, shout out to my pops today. Everybody will have a balloon. Pops didn't have no favorite color. He was a man's man. So everybody has a white balloon. We say a prayer and we let those balloons go. I hear that. Tom says, son, redo the dove on his birthday. Okay. Redo the dove every day, every year for his birthday. So it's hard to find It's hard to find out today in 2026. It is. It's manhood. Manhood is taking on a lot of different definitions in this world today. But when you find it, you know it. You know when you're in the presence of it because you feel the energy, you feel that warmth. You do. You feel the energy. You feel the warmth. You feel the power. And it's not about I hear cats talking today about who's an alpha male, and everything is about aggression and control and all that. I'm like, that's not even what an alpha male does. An alpha male just takes the lead. That's what he does. He takes the lead. It ain't about, smacking up bitches or gripping up niggas and, and like y'all niggas is dumb. On Facebook, I'm in an alpha male. It's called an alpha male strategies. It's like the stupidest group. I be like, y'all sound like bitches. Complain about women all the time. Quick to call somebody a simp all the time. I'm like, y'all niggas act like y'all prefer the company of men. Y'all sound like y'all would lay on a man's chest and listen to his heartbeat and feel comfy. Play with the hairs on his chest. Like, that's not gay. Speaking of gay, you can be gay and still display manhood because a man takes care of his responsibilities. And there are plenty of gay men out there that are fathers, real fathers. They might have done. There are a lot of gay men out there that practice some straight shit sometime in their lives before they submit it to the world, not necessarily submitted to their feelings. They may have always done that, but yeah, shit. I had a best friend back in the day. His dad, handled his BI, but he was gay. He was gay. I mean, what could I say? He wasn't no punk. He didn't act like no bitch, but he was gay and he was out of the closet gay. Don't worry, Tom. I am not here to advocate for any homosexuality. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm talking about manhood. And like I said, a gay man can still display manhood. He can. Just like a straight man can display some bitch ass shit. Yeah, the scales ain't always balanced the way we want them to be or that we would like them to be. What up, Malu? What's good? What's good? Let me see. Carrie says, time. My father and grandfather who raised me, because my parents were 15 and 16, both held me in high regard. So I held myself in high regard all of my life. I like that. That's what's up. Tom says, son, not only does he take the lead, if you are indecisive as a woman and you don't know what you're going to eat, you're going to eat what he wants, what he wants to eat. Do you open your mouth? Yo, you wildin'. Oh my God. What up, Stacy? What's good? Carrie said, I also honor my father. I honor my fathers by seeking companionship from men who have similar personalities as them, stand doing business, unapologetically patriarchal, compassionate, and masculine. Wait. He said, well, son, it's not gay, but it's part of the gay agency, though. But I'm not judging anybody. Happy Father's Day. Nah, we not doing the rainbow thing. I'm not. All I'm saying is that there are a lot of gay men that are somebody's father. And many of those gay men have taken care of their families, raised their sons and daughters, and did what they were supposed to do. And I can't be mad at that. I can't do it. I can't be mad at it. I'd rather have it that way than not have no, or to have a shifty ass, irresponsible dad who always promised to come and kick it with me, or take me somewhere, or do something with me, or never showed up, or never showed up at any of my special times in my life. No baseball, basketball, football games. No graduations. No birthdays. No nothing. I would rather have something or somebody to protect and honor than to be able to say, well, I didn't have nothing. I ain't have nothing. And unfortunately, I've had too much experience with those who didn't have nothing. So yeah, when you talk about honoring your father, sometimes you can do that in your own mind because it'll come out in your actions. You know, when you think about the things that your father may have told you, and you think about the things that he may have taught you, and you know, fathers have a way of teaching you things without directly saying anything. Five two, baby. What? My brother, my mellow, my man, why don't you get on the mic and won't you take it to stand?
What's going on, son, to the 752? I'm coming through. What boss for you? It's Father's Day. What's up, Pops? I'm trying to hit you with a little hit to the hop. Tom is in the building. Kerry Wright is. Let you know these are my family biz. We on the chit chat chatter. Everything on here is what matters.
Ooh.
We're talking about that Father's Day stuff. I'm telling you, I had enough. My dad was a deadbeat. He's dead. I know God is not in his head. He might be in hell trying to bring his way back to heaven, but God, keep him down there.
Chill, dog.
How y'all doing today? That's probably rap.
Chill. I hope you just got lost in the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen.
I got lost in the lyrics. How y'all doing? I got lost. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
All right.
Good. I heard what you was just saying, and it caught up to me, son.
No.
It caught up.
Listen, man, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. And I hope you can receive this.
Like I will.
You know, a lot of people listen to me talk about my fathers, and, you know, I know that I sound like I'm speaking from a perspective like it was all good and like, you know, like this is just the most beautiful thing. And in my mind, it's the most beautiful thing. In practice, there were bumps in the road. There were disagreements. There were times when me and my dad wasn't speaking. There were times when, you know, there were months where we was on the outs. You know, he didn't always do the right things, but he did all the things that I could learn from. And regardless of the way I feel about it, you know, I've done shows about how you can't, you know how like we normally favor one side of the family over the other because we normally have more interaction with one side of the family over the other. Like in the case of if you were raised by your mother and your mother's family was more active in your life, then that's the side of the family that you favor. You know, if you didn't have a strong relationship with your father or his side of the family, and I have to say with your father or his side of the family, because I've known people who have had a strong relationship with their father's side of the family, still not with their dad. Sometimes the family of the father does a lot and the father doesn't do as much. So I have to make sure that I qualify that. But even if your father was toxic, even if he didn't do the right things, even if he broke his promises, even if he wasn't there, even if he wasn't active, even if his relationship with your mother wasn't this, that, and the third, there are still lessons that we have to take from all of that. And there are always reasons for that. And even if we don't like the reasons for it, if we should ever find out the reasons for it, we have to understand that 23 chromosomes of his DNA lives inside of us. So whether we like it or not, everything and anything that he had the potential to do and the way that he had the potential to be lives in us too. And somebody who doesn't know our father may see his tendencies in us. It may be your mom, it may be your friends, it may be your woman, it may be your kids, it may be a lot of different people. So that's one of the reasons that I've always encouraged people to get to know their parents, whether they like them or not, because you are your parents. You have a chance to become a different parent or a different person. But trust me, you were constructed with 23 on your mother's side, 23 chromosomes on your mother's side, 23 chromosomes on your dad's side, which gave you 46 chromosomes that you will give to your children, and they will break that down between a mom and you. So it's not an easy thing, because when you don't have your father, when you don't have that fatherly upbringing or that involvement, there's a lot of pain associated with that. But just like in all things, we can't allow our anger to dictate our logic, because the same way that you could mess up out of your anger, go and punch somebody in the face or inflict violence upon them and wind up suffering the consequences, is the same way that you could express the pain of not having, or the anger of not having your father there, make you into the negative parent that you probably don't even want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know, what you just said, I really, really appreciate that. You know, and there's going to be a but to it, but there's more of an appreciation. You know, there's going to be an elaboration. Because I elaborate to what you said, but you made a lot of valid points with what you said. You know, and the thing about it is that what you said, that your pops, that's plural for two, y'all went through trials and tribulations, and y'all might didn't talk to each other, but you learned from each one of them. When I think about my father, I never learned that from my father. He's never taught me anything. He's never showed me anything. He never done nothing for me. The most important thing that my father did was create me. And for that, I'm grateful. And without him creating me, I wouldn't have met two of the most beautiful souls that's ever walked this planet, which is my grandmother and my grandfather. And because of them, I became some of the main reasons why I am who I am today. Because my father had jealousy towards me. And as I get older, and I'm 56 now, and that still bothers me, because I never know, how can you be jealous of a kid that the only thing he wants is love? You mean to tell me that you so selfish of the love that your father is giving me? Don't you realize that parents change once they get older, and because they learn from their mistakes as parents? So when they become grandparents, they've learned how to be better parents. People don't understand that, you know. And at the end of the day, I still love them. Mm-hmm. I never not loved them. I never not cared. Before my pop passed away, we were on the verge of trying to mend a fence that I didn't even create. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. On Father's Day, yes, I say Happy Father's Day to you, but it don't take away the pain of, if I got to sit back and I got to remember that I can say that you gave me from birth until age 18 or 19. You've given me $350, and my stepmother has to beg you to give me $35 to give me a pair of sneaks. It's just horrible. That's something to think about. You didn't teach me about girls. You didn't teach me about fighting. You didn't come to no football games, no basketball games. I didn't get no hug. I didn't get no kiss. I didn't get no high five. I didn't get a plate of food. I didn't get shit from him. My father was my grandfather, all my grandfather. One thing my mom did for me is put male role models in my life that will affect me to this day. And what it did was them male role models loved on me along with the female role models, right? Because I had a lot of mothers, and the male role models loved on me just like the female role models. And the most important thing is they showed me love. So that's why I always try to tell people, like my niece, her father was locked up and in our jail all her life. And my mom said, well, when she had her first child, well, she was looking for the love of her father, and she was looking for the love of my mother because my sister had an addiction at that time. And at the end of the day, I was like, don't use that as a crutch to say that's why she went out there and got pregnant. No, because she had love. She had love around us. We gave her love. I was like a father figure. My other brother was like a father figure. My mother was like a mother figure. So you're not getting love. You're doing that because of what you wanted to do, not because of the reason that you're coming up with. Don't give an excuse to back out of what she's done. Now that she's there, we're going to be there for her, but don't make that excuse. I'm here. I'm not broken. I'm happy that I'm not the father that my father was. Because when my father picked me up, he didn't spend time with me and him. He took me to a bar and I spent time with him. I'm playing the bowling game on the skeet ball game in the bar while he drinking and at the bar. He take me to his friend's house and they get high while playing with with his friends' kids. So I mean, it's hurt and it's pain, but it don't take away the love I have for him because I've never ever disrespected this man. I was always brought up on respect, and I was always brought up on love, so I would never disrespect my father. But on this day, I'm praying. I'm saying Happy Father's Day to the ones that were fathers, to Tom and how he think of his father when he put everything together, putting the the go kart together and helping them with the bikes. To your fathers and how they did everything. I'm saying Happy Fathers to the Linwood Lee, to John Gladden, to Mr. Poppy, that was like a father figure to me in my life, to all the men that came into my life, and not only did they act like fathers, but to this day I get knowledge and wisdom from them. So when you speak highly of your father and you speak highly of your other father, it makes me feel good inside because at the end of the day, when I speak to son and son give me knowledge and wisdom, I know where that knowledge and wisdom came from. It didn't just come from you just speaking it. It came from something that you inherently got from them. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm proud to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that did what they were supposed to do. Even my father, because if he didn't impregnate my mom, we wouldn't be talking. So he did something right.
Yeah, I want to thank you for everything you said because that was meaningful. It was insightful and it was deep. And I feel like I'm listening to everything that you said with a different set of ears. I'm feeling like you should honor your dad because your dad gave you a lot. He gave you a lot.
I know what you get ready to say. And you're right.
He did. He gave you a lot. He gave you a lot and he showed you a lot. See, it's not sometimes we think about the quantity of things and we forget about the quality of things. You know what I mean? But your dad taught you a lot. He taught a lot. I don't know if he knew that what he was teaching or daddy was teaching, but he did. And I don't know if it was his side of the family that made you process it the way you processed it, or whether it was his side. I mean, whether it was your mom's side. You know what I mean? Like, but you speak of your dad being jealous of you. And that may have played a role in you not being jealous, not being a jealous person or jealous of your own children. Your dad didn't spend a whole lot of quality time with you the way that a person should spend with their children. That sounds like you that made you make the decision to always spend that quality time with your own kids. Your dad may have took you to speakeasies and bars, or blended you with other kids whose fathers was doing some negative shit, which probably influenced you to make sure that you was always there for your children and didn't just drop them off or hand them off, or put them in the hands of those who can't be trusted. And to hear you say, regardless of all of that, I still love my dad. But you loved your dad because that's what children do. Children don't hate. Adults hate. Adults have learned to hate a lot of times because of their experiences when they were children. But children are like dogs. Like you could beat a dog, treat a dog, yell at a dog all the time and all that, and that dog will still seek your approval. And children do the same thing. The difference between a dog and a child is that if a dog gets fed up enough, he may run away. But then again, he may stay there for the rest of his life. And but a human being, a child will grow into an adult and either run away as a child or leave as an adult and probably never return with a lot of resentment in their heart, justifiable resentment at that. So, I don't want to discount any of your experiences because, the pain that a person feels in their heart and the feelings that they have generated because of their experiences is not something that anybody can directly understand better than the person that's going through it. But because of the way that you were handled, it sounds to me and looks to me like you made the conscious decision to be the opposite. Now, it would have been nice if the experiences and the treatment that you received was more favorable, but we'll never know if you would have followed that example to the letter.
Well, you're absolutely correct on that. And I had a thought that I had an inkling that you was going to go in that direction. That his negatives made me a positive person that led me in a better direction. And the thing about it is that it just like I got another brother, and I ain't seen this brother. The first time I met my other brother, because you know, Father's Day song is Papa Was a Rolling Stone on Father's Day, But when I met my I don't know if he was my older brother, my younger brother. I forgot. I don't know if I'm older than him or younger than him. But when I first met him, I met him on my 7th birthday. My father gave me $7 silver, and he took me to go meet this little boy, and he told me that this was my brother. I haven't seen this man since in my life. I just know I got another brother out there, and I met a sister about 4 or 5 years ago that graduated a year before me from Bach. That was my sister. Looks exactly like my father.
Yeah.
And I seen her up front, and I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that you're absolutely right. I should be thankful of what he taught me. And he taught me not to be a person as himself. But even if he was
hold on. Let me interrupt you just for a second. Because I'm not saying that you should be thankful for that, because that's a judgment. What I'm saying is, I don't know if his side of the family made you be able to process that, process your experiences and decide to take a different way, or if it was your mom's side. You would know better. You would know better than me.
It was both sides.
Okay.
It was both sides. It was more because on my father's side of the family, on my father's side of the family, it was entrepreneurs. I had my grandfather was a hard ass worker. He was a longshoreman. He was like a big time. He was the union rep, a big time union rep here in Philly, and in Philly at the Pack Avenue terminal. And he also was a big manager there,
Mm-hmm.
right? My aunt was Beatrice Gladden. Bee's Barbecue was between 16th and 17th and South, right across from the Royal Theater. She cooked for Nat King Cole and all the big wigs that used to come there. She was one of the first black female entrepreneurs in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
My Uncle Teddy used to take me there to get something to eat every Sunday. My other grandparents that was across the street from my house that had 8 daughters and 1 son, they taught me everything. It was so you take everything as you go on in life, you go on and you start growing and maturing and seeing what to do, what not to do, how to act, not to act. And the reason why I've never done the negative things in life, not saying that I was perfect, but the selling of the drugs and the doing all this other nonsense is because I never wanted to let them down. So the conscious decisions came from not wanting to let them down and put them in a position of judging me in a way of they didn't bring me up the right way. You know what I mean? So I mean, it was both sides of the family, you know. But the part that I'm looking at, that I'm thinking about, what I should take from what you're saying is that through him teaching me and not knowing that he's teaching me, he taught me how to be a better version of myself because I didn't follow the leads of what he was doing. And to me, I have to be, even through the hurt comes happiness because I'm happy that I didn't. I'm 56 and I'm proud to say I've never smoked weed. You know, I'm 56 and I'm proud to say I don't have an addiction to no type of drug or alcohol. Not saying I don't drink, but yeah, I don't need it. You know what I mean? So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm proud of the situations, the things that I've done to not veer off into a direction where people will say, "You just like your father." Because you know, when the negative things come out, that's what people say.
Well,
You know what I
well,
mean?
well. The fact that you had some interaction and some knowledge of your dad's side of the family actually puts you at an advantage, because
Yeah,
from the things that you're saying, at least you had that side. You know, we know people who don't know who their father is.
that's the truth.
We know people who have been lied to about who their father was all their lives, and may have found out too late in life, or you know what I mean, shit like that. So yeah, um, your dad gave you something. It may not have come in the packaging that it should have, and didn't. It wasn't wrapped properly, and his presentation certainly wasn't. Like how like this might not be appropriate, but like how like you bake a cake and you
Mm-hmm.
haven't put no icing on it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't slice that. You can't, break off a slice of that cake before you put the icing on it, because you ain't gonna be able to ice it right.
Right.
But you might, because that should be smelling good and it tastes good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you would never present the way a cake looks without the icing, because it's just not preventable. It looked like you had two big ass pieces of cornbread that you stacked on top of each other. You know what I'm saying? It'll look a little unsightly, but it might still taste good. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that to say that you know, Father's Day or no Father's Day, we have to be thankful for what we got, because, and I don't want to get too deeply spiritual about this, but
No, 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 you gonna get spiritual, son. That's what we do. That's what you do, bro.
well,
Don't get deep if you can get spiritual, bro. Go ahead, don't do that.
all I'm saying is this: we don't know how God wanted it to be,
True.
but He gives it to us the way that it happened. So that must be the way that He wanted to be. He wanted it to
Yeah.
be. If we can't say that He controls all things, and He has a plan that we all must follow, but then take the culpability away from Him when things don't go our way. was it? Who was I having a conference?
Me.
No. I was having a conversation with somebody, I think yesterday, and they was talking about something like if you like you automatically go to heaven if you get murdered, but you automatically go to hell if you murder somebody. And I said, now hold the fuck up. Wait a goddamn minute. Because I'm thinking like, we all gotta die. You know what I'm saying? We don't have control over, there's one thing we cannot do in this world, and that's live forever. So there's a lesson in every birth, and there's a lesson in every death, whether we like the lesson that's taught or not. The same way that some people didn't like English when they was in school, and some people didn't like math, but we had to take those classes because we needed to learn the value of both, and we had to learn how to do both. So I'm saying all this to say that how can you automatically go to heaven if you get murdered when you might have been a murderer your damn self?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And who I was talking to, they said, yeah, well, they said that in the Catholic religion, that's what they believe. I said, all right, well, I know a lot of Catholics, and I don't know about that shit. There are a lot of confusing things in religion as a whole, but hold on a second. If we believe that God is the reason for our birth, then we have to accept that he's the reason for our death too. And he determines only he determines when you're going to go and how. So when people die, especially if they died from an accident or something tragic or whatever, we'd be like, if I would have only did this, or if they would have only did that, they would have still been alive today. No, they wouldn't. Their time had come. And it came the way that it came at the time it was supposed to come, in the way that it was supposed to come. And that's hard for us to accept, but we have no choice but to accept it, because we can't bring them back, and we can't rewind it, and we can't do it over. So and talking about what happened between you and your dad, you got lessons from that. Yeah, that might have been your algebra. That might have been your how to write a complete sentence. That might have been your paragraph or your research papers. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to do this shit, and I don't see how it's gonna benefit. How am I going to need this later on in life? And then you realize, like, those things that I didn't want to learn or didn't want to do did benefit me later on in life, because I knew them. And there is no wasted knowledge. So if there is no wasted knowledge, I don't know if there are any wasted experiences either. We experienced what we were supposed to experience. Now, what experiences are we going to control for ourselves and give to others? Those are the lessons that we have to extract from that. That's all I have to say about that. You can go ahead.
Yeah, and that's just 1,000% true. And me and you had talked about the same thing a couple of weeks ago, because we was talking about something similar to what you just said. About God, which the whole conversation was about that when we was talking about that. And I was like, that was something that enlightened the hell out of me. You know what I mean? Because my thing is that when you said that, I was like, well, if he knows what you're going to do before you do it, and he knows all and sees all, then he already knows what you're going to do, your reaction to what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. He even knows that you're going to, even if you don't have a reaction, what you're going to do. He knows if you sometimes he'll let God intertwine himself inside you. I mean, the devil out in front of you to see if you're going to make the same mistake. Just to check you. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're 1,000% telling the truth on that. I wanted to ask you a question, son.
Hold on, because I got a rabbit hole. Before you ask that question, I got a rabbit hole. See, I didn't want to do this shit, but fuck it. See, this is that Father's Day shit. All right, so West West, and what up, West? West said Cortez murdered millions and he was Catholic. Is he in heaven? No way. And you know what? I gotta say this. By human being standards, hell no, he's not in heaven. But by God's standards, he might have a hell of a chance.
Yes, because my mom always said this, right? My mom said, and all Christians say this: if you ask God for forgiveness, He'll forgive you.
Well, I'm not even talking
Now,
about that because in religion, they teach that also. But my question is, how do we know what the qualifications to get in heaven are? How can we possibly know? We conceptualize about it all the time. But if God, if in the instance of Cortez that West was speaking about, how do we know God didn't order him to kill millions of people? Because that's the lesson that needed to be learned from those millions of people being killed. How do we know that that wasn't how nature got balanced out? They say that nature has to balance itself out. Whenever nature is unbalanced, we get natural disasters. We get hurricanes, we get tornadoes, we get earthquakes, we get tsunamis, we get tornadoes in the Western Hemisphere, and we get cyclones on the East. So, you know, we may know and understand our relationship with God because we can feel that in our hearts, but we don't know what He wants. We've been taught what He wants from other men who don't know what the fuck He wants. But what He wants, He gets. And we don't have any power to take that away. So when, unfortunately, one of our loved ones' lives are taken by someone, how do we know God didn't order that hit? And how do we know that because his evil seeming ass carried out that hit, how do we know he's not rewarded? I don't know what the qualifications of heaven are. I just know what my guilt factor allows me to do or allows me to accept and reject. But my guilt factor, my feelings, my conscience does not run this world. It don't. It governs me, but it don't govern the world. Other things have to happen in the world for it to be governed. And I can't say governed correctly because that's subjective. That's an opinion. But like I said, man, that was a rabbit hole because we won't know till we get there. I got a funny feeling. If we get to heaven, we're going to see a whole lot of motherfuckers that we're going to be like, hold up, man. Hold. God, please. Yo. Wait, hold. So you mean to tell me I was doing this, that, and the third? I stopped doing this. I you know how bad I wanted to, you know what I mean? You know, he was like, yeah, well, that wasn't for you. Haven't you heard? Didn't people always tell you what's for you is for you and what's not for you ain't for you? But that wasn't for you. It was for him. He did what I told him to do. In your household, when you didn't do what your mom or what your parents told you to do, didn't you suffer the consequences? But you couldn't go to them and be like, well, you ain't tell my brother or my sister to do that. Yeah, because I told you to put out the trash. So you think they gonna get an ass whooping for not putting out your trash? No, you getting this ass whooping. I'm just saying. Now, what was you trying to ask me before?
So I wanted to ask you something, right? And this is just a question I wonder because I don't never want to get off topic, but I mean, we're talking about fathers, Ben. Why is it that, and I know T. Carey Wright can help us out with this too, in time, or whoever else, including level. Why is that fathers are held more accountable than mothers? Why are we held more accountable and mothers are not held accountable? Because you can see it in how Mother's Day and Father's Day is. You know, you hear the song, I always love my mama, but you don't never hear nothing about I always love my father. You know what I mean? Mothers are more praised and glorified on another. Now I do understand that they are the bearers of life, but fathers are the ones that help bear the life. And what I always try to tell my kids, I had to tell my son the other day. I told all my kids this before. Y'all look at me, y'all hold me accountable, and y'all look at me and y'all want to try to point out my flaws, but y'all never had a father like Bobby Gladden. I would love for y'all to have that person as a father. So y'all can at least appreciate the parent that y'all have, the one that took y'all to the doctor appointments, the one that took y'all for trick or treating, the one that did everything, taught you how to read, taught you how to count money by giving you the money you counted, done all that as a father, took you on the trips. Same thing mommy done. But there's a void in between that. You know what I mean? Mommy get the luxurious gifts and the trips and the going out and the big dinners and the parties. The father just get Chinese food or barbecue that he got to cook for to enjoy himself and everything else right there. So I just wanted to know, what do you think about that?
Well, what I think about that is this: we have to control our jealousy when it comes to the ladies. Um, but if you've ever seen a child that favors, if you've ever seen a child that favors their father over their mother, you realize that well, let me just say this. Although there is a big disparity between Mother's Day and Father's Day. When mothers are bad mothers, or when they don't get no love from they children, it's bad. When you see people who don't get along with their mom, or don't like their mom, or don't love their mom, it's worse than fathers. Because normally fathers ain't around to even feel that wrath. But the mothers be right there, getting them body blows. And a lot of times they deserve it. And sometimes, like, yo, this is a little over the top. You know what I'm saying? But it's sometimes hard for us to think outside of our personal situation. Like, like, damn, the mom, she get all the love, she get all of this, that, and the third. But it's not like that in every home. It's not like that in every family. It's not like that in a lot of places. If you ever see like a real daddy's girl, not too many women are daddy's girls and mama's girls at the same time. It's one or the other. And when daddy's girls are daddy's girls, they it's strong. You know what I mean? It's strong. You know what I'm saying? Mom be on the sidelines hating, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it goes the way it goes. Now, luckily, the father was there to receive that love and that favor. But I've known families where the father or the fathers were not all that active, but the mom wasn't all that great of a mom at the same time. So even though the father wasn't there, the folklore about him was all good. Yeah, my dad is the greatest. My dad is the best. I'm like, yeah, he might have been a fantasy dad, because he hardly ever came around. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in the show when you came on. Like, children look for, the approval of their parents. They do. But every mom ain't a good mom. You know that. And some children recognize that. And they treat and they respond in kind. So the same way, and I'm not saying that you were doing this, but the same way that when Father's Day comes around, we don't like, women coming along, grabbing our scepter and, what I mean, talking about, well, I was a mom, I was the dad to my children, what I mean, like, same way we don't like that. I don't want to let them creep into our day, or I don't want to take their accolades away from them. Mothers have just as many struggles as fathers do, but there are different kinds of struggles. A mother will struggle with her children right there. She might struggle through mental illness. She might struggle through poverty. She might struggle through stress and depression. She might struggle through, just trying to keep a roof over her head and just and trying to keep her kids safe. And if you think about it, out there in the wild, if you think about it, moms are the ones who do all the protecting. It ain't the dads. It's a weird thing out in the wild. If you've ever owned dogs, and the mother dog and the father dog, the mom is the protector. The dog, the father dog come along like, mom be like, oh, chill, chief. You know what I mean? You fuck around and eat these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. You know what I'm saying? So but you take a look at nature and you see the natural balance of things in nature, and it's different for human beings. Sometimes, Troy, I don't think that us having autonomy in this world is all that great of a thing. It would be a lot easier if we just followed nature the way animals do. But unfortunately, we were cursed with language, so we can communicate with each other on an intellectual or a logical level, and it's fucking up everything. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you was a dog or a bear or a horse or a giraffe or a lion, you know what I mean? You just wait till your woman getting heat or you getting heat. You just jump on the back of handle your business. You know what I mean? Keep it moving.
Right.
Try that as a human. Now you all up in court. You on a sex offenders list. You know what I'm saying? No, like shit is crazy. But on some real shit, yeah. A mother's struggle may be actually keeping her family afloat, and she may do a good job at that, and she may not. They fall down on jobs. They're human just like everybody else. And a father's struggle may be to fucking get himself together and be responsible, to be attentive, to be protective, to be, to actually, display the manhood that he's supposed to do, that he's supposed to display. And he may really struggle with that. And I think that most absentee fathers have struggled with that, and they haven't done well in their struggle. They haven't done well. I hate this example, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Look at fucking Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight said, you know what, fuck it. I ain't winning with my first set of kids. Fuck them. I'm gonna just go over here. I'm gonna roll over here and take care of these. You know how many people have done that without announcing it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was like, well, I might not be shit over there, but I'm the man over here. Like I said, a lot of men have done that quietly. And I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do, because it's not. If he was a real man, he would find a way to blend all your children together. You might listen, the way that you feel about the way that you feel about your other parent is the way you feel. But you still you only a father because you created with that other parent. Now you got to do what you're supposed to. So yeah, man, it's weird. Yeah. Mothers get all of the praise and all of that shit, but if it's any consolation to you, they get that period every month, and some of them have really, really bad cramps. Aha.
You a fool. DK, right. I want to tell you something. I appreciate you and everybody in the chat that's coming forth with everything y'all saying. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Man, you's a fool, man.
How do we know that wasn't God's way of regulate? They regenerate themselves every 28 days, right? How do we know that wasn't God's way of saying, Well, they do. They lose an egg every 28 days until there are no eggs left. They're fortified with a certain number of eggs from birth. So that's the amount of children that they have the ability to make, and that's already put in them from birth. How do we know that wasn't God's way of giving them humility every month? Like, yo, you out of pocket. You out of. I mean, don't they be acting out of pocket around that time? They be out of pocket.
I'm
You know
gonna have to
what
I'm gonna have to write a little comedy behind that.
I mean? I'm just saying that might have been that.
I know you're gonna disrespect this man at some point, so I'm just going through your period, and feel like it. So you can feel some pain.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Shout out. Oh, I like to give a shout out to all those chicks who get it so bad they can't even go to work, or the ones that just use that as an excuse not to go to work. Shout out to endometriosis. Shout out. All right. Anyway, so hey, you know what I mean? Yeah, mothers may get everything on Mother's Day, but them other 364 days, you know what I'm saying? It's some shit going down. Hey, and speaking of,
You know what?
wait. And have you ever been around mothers who didn't get no love or no presents or nothing on Mother's Day? Yo, they be fucked up, dog. They be fucked up. Fuck all of them bitches. Fuck my kids ain't shit. I did everything for them. I gave them everything, and them motherfuckers get the one day.
My friend's calling. Hold on.
Okay. And the one day when I should have, yo, they be fucked up. And I'm only saying that to say that, listen, sometimes when somebody gets something that you would like to have for yourself, it looks like they have everything. They ain't got everything. They have something. They have something that you would like to have. That didn't give them everything. And if you ever got what they got, you wouldn't have everything either. So, flip it back to what we talking about today. Yes, I had a father. I had a stepfather. I had two fathers. Somebody who didn't have a father in their life or didn't have good fatherly parental guidance or upbringing might look at me like I had everything. And they might say to themselves, if I would have had what he would have had, if I would have had what he had, I might have everything. Well, I could have done this, or I could have been that way. Well, we'll never know that. But I had two fathers in my life. I don't have everything. I don't even have everything I wanted or everything that I want. But what I do have is perspective. I have perspective about the struggles that a man goes through, especially when he's a father. And I really understand that this year. It has definitely come into my understanding this year. But as much as I would like to say that no matter what has happened in your life, you should always try to get it popping with your father. But I actually mean that for both parents. I think it's important for you to get to know your parents as much as possible, because just like I was saying earlier in the show, you have the potential to be just like either one of them. That's good and bad. So just like you take like a Bronny James. Yeah, he may not be as good of a basketball player as his father is, but he had the chance to be in the NBA. He got a direct chance because of his father. Who's to say that he wanted to do that? He could have decided to take a different path in life, and he may, because he's okay. He's an okay player. He's okay. He's not his dad. He don't have to be. But there are a lot of people. Like a Bronny James to a LeBron James. Look at all the people that who come from like a family of cops. You come from a cop family. Grandfather was a cop. Father was a cop. Brothers, sisters are cops. Cop family. There's some consistencies. that run through families that sometimes we follow, sometimes we don't. Shout out to all y'all families that worked in the union. You know, union workers always get their kids in. I mean, you don't have to do this for the rest of your life, but yo, I mean, get you in the union, get you a job, whatever. You know what I mean? You can feed your family. I'll guarantee you that. So yeah. We get things. We learn our lessons the way our lessons are taught. And sometimes we don't always understand the lessons that are being taught when we are learning them. But everything comes full circle at some point. It's all what they say, what goes around comes around. And yeah. So yeah, Troy, when you were on the other line, I was talking about, are you there? No. He got cut off. Yo, when you click back over, we heard you.
No, my twins didn't hang up their phone.
Okay.
So both my lines wasn't clear, so I had to hang up and then go back to you. So I got you. Line.
I got you. No, what I was saying was, you know, sometimes we follow in the footsteps of our parents. You know, like I was talking about how like LeBron James had Bronny James, and Bronny James, you know, he gave his son the opportunity to go into the NBA. He may not have made it otherwise, but because of his dad, he had the opportunity to do that. And that's not to say that that's what he'll want to do for the rest of his life, but he could. You know what I mean? But just like I know families of cops or families of union workers or, you know, firemen, you know what I mean? City workers, you know people who work for the city, they always get their people and you know, to work for the city. Like, oh yeah, jobs for everybody. Where you want to work? You want to work in the water department? You want to work in? You want to take out? You want to work in trash, sanitation, whatever, you know. But yeah. So
especially if you are a city councilman, you'll get all your family members to be part of your office.
Yeah. Well, but the whole point of what I was saying was, when somebody has something that you want, it can make it seem like they have everything, but they don't have everything. They have something that you want. If you got what they had, would you have everything? Without that something, you may think that you would have everything. You ever know anybody, hey, Troy, you ever know anybody that can't read?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Like, cannot read. And the struggle that they have going through life, trying to hide the fact that they can't read, you know what I mean? And most people who can't read believe that if they could only read, they could be king or queen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that would just make you just like everybody else. Because everybody else can read, write, and all of that shit, but they didn't become kings and queens because of it. You have miraculously been probably, you know, people have worked on jobs for years. Some people have even become millionaires and couldn't read, you know, a la R. Kelly, and you know what I mean? You know, people like that. It's a crapshoot, but it happens. But yeah, it's easy to think that because somebody has something that you would like to have, that you would have, or that they have everything, and that you would have everything if you got it. But that's just not the way it works. You know, it's
like I mean, the one thing I can even T. Carey Wright said, Fantasia.
Fantasia could read. She just couldn't read well.
You know, I call her Fat Tongue. Every time she sings, she just sounds like her tongue is so heavy. If you don't know me, then don't talk to me.
Man, she can sing her ass off. She can sing her ass off. Fuck that. I fucks with me some Fantasia. Fuck that. We not doing that. I fucks with Fantasia heavy. Heavy. You said, she said she can only read on a third grade level. Well, I could read my ass off in the second grade, so she doing all right. She doing all right. Shit.
I had a boy that couldn't read on the third or first grade level, but he was one hell of a street pharmaceutical director.
Hey, some people can read, some people can count.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people can read, some people can count.
You know what I mean?
So, you know,
you just gotta know where you belong and put people in the right places.
Some people can read, some people can count, and some people are pretty good in science.
Well, I'm on this phone today, right? And you've been showing me a lot of highly intelligent scientific facts and the breaking down of this, that, and the other. Well, I'm on the phone. I'm like, I'm proud of this brother. You know what I mean? I'm hearing you breaking down the chromosomes and all this other stuff. Like, what the fuck? I'm ready to give you an Einstein visa, like Melania.
Hey, there's some things. The beauty of an education is that you can see more. You can see things from a different perspective than just what it physically is. You know what I mean? And I'm by no means a scholar. I was an average student in school. I was a bright average student, but I made sure I stayed average. I didn't excel. I just didn't do it.
Make sure you stay.
Hey, when you don't like to study, and when if you don't develop study habits, and you depend on memorization and shit like that, you're gonna be an average student. The farther you go, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I retained, or like some of the classes that I didn't do well in, I still learned because I was there. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to learn when you're not there, but when you show up, at least you'll probably put it together later on. You'll probably get it together later on.
You ain't never lied, son. I never forgot. I got in an argument with one of my kids before, and they was talking, right? Well, we had a disagreement. And every time he would say something, I said, see, you putting that but there. You putting that conjunction right there. If you don't put that conjunction right there, maybe you can hear me a little bit better. So then he talking. I said, now you putting that if right there, that preposition, and you adding a phrase to what the hell you saying. I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? I'm saying to myself, wow. I could have had all this with me in school and been an A+ student the whole time.
Yeah. I mean,
as you get older, you start the knowledge that you attain as a youngster or as a young adult or even as when you went to school, it comes to you when you least expect it.
If you show up, you're going to learn something. You might not pass the test, but you're going to learn something. And you might not be. A lot of things I figured out later on after I wasn't there anymore. But the important thing is what you can pass on to others, because others may get it better than you do. They may understand it. They may retain it better than you do. They may be able to process it. Two good eyes are always better than one. That's why, but I have to say two good eyes. But even if the eyes aren't good, they may not see things from a certain perspective. Troy, when I was smoking weed, like what I liked about smoking weed is it used to take my mind like boom, like wow. Because I didn't smoke weed till I was 21 and I was in college. So everything I was learning in these books and in these lectures and these, traveling around the world and all of this shit, the weed it had me on some international universal trip shit. I didn't know that that's not what it did for everybody.
Wow.
So when I'm smoking with motherfuckers that either, that ain't been out of their neighborhood, or, you know what I mean, or that didn't really go to school and all of that, like it's a totally different experience for them. They're working with the limitations that they have. I'm working with the limitations that I have, but my limitations are way broader than theirs was.
Right.
So I had to learn when I was smoking weed, like I gotta keep my motherfucking mouth shut. They ain't on what I'm on. I fuck around and blow they high. my my man Earth, my man Lawrence, who passed in 2024, my best friend. Even he wasn't on that shit. He used to be like, yo, start huffing the weed, and he'd fuck around and pull up a book and start reading that shit. He like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, look, you get high your way, I'll get high my way. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, it don't have to be the same way. But yeah, he had different reasons for doing what he do, and I had my reasons for doing what I do. But we can still get along. But you have to understand those differences. And because of my understanding of that, I've been able to impart that type of wisdom, or whatever you might call it, onto my daughter and any other child that I've been around. You know what I'm saying? Like, you give them what you got. All you can give them is what you have. And if you want them to have more than what you have, you introduce them to somebody who can give them more. But that's what a father does. A father has to be aware of his limitations. If he knows, now any good father should want their kids to have more than they have. But a good father also has to ask himself, what is he doing to make sure that they get it? Because it ain't just gonna fall out of the sky just because you've been acting like a good father. You know, my dad was smart as fuck, very intellectual, but he knew that he didn't know everything, so he would introduce me to people who could give me a little bit more. You know, and that's what we try to do for our kids. My daughter suffered from anxiety, and I know how debilitating that can be, and how that can limit that can totally blow your light out. And I know, because I've suffered from anxiety too. And so I got her help. Like, even though from my perspective, I'm like, yo, I can really help you with this. But I'm not a professional. So outside of an inspiring coach, I couldn't give her the help that she really needed. So I got her the help that she really needed. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whether you are getting tutoring for your children, coaching for them, mentoring, some type of thing that you can do for them that will help them to become structured and productive and well adjusted. As a man, as a father, you need to do that. And you can do that for many children. As a matter of fact, some of those children might be your own age. Because you are a child in anything, you are a child in any arena or age or area that you have not grown up in. So when you teach me something new, I'm a baby in that. And as you show me more about what you're teaching me, I grow. So you have fathered me. I've been taught that a father is one who furthers knowledge. So in that regard, you can have many kids. And I know that because many children have told me, like, you was like a father to me, Mr. O, or something like that. And that even the all of the dope boys on my block, they call me Mr. O. I wasn't Mr. O till I moved on this street. I was 29. I hadn't stepped up into the Mr. class. They gave it to me though. And just me, dropping little jewels on them, taking them to the park. Like I had a truck at the time, a flatbed truck. And so they used to like to jump on the back of the truck and I would ride them up to Hunting Park and take them swimming. And a lot of times if they didn't have no way to get up there, they would come knock on my door. Hey, Mr. O, can you take us up to Hunting Park? We want to go swimming. And I would do it. I ain't think it was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They moms and they aunts was coming to me like, yo, do you know how my son feel about you? You would have thought I gave him $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought I bought him a PlayStation 5. That's what you would have thought. I gave them what they needed and what they wanted. And it was a small thing to me. It was a big thing to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Riding on the back of the truck. I guess I was the only person on the truck. On the block that had a truck. All right, wasn't no big thing to me. Anyway, yeah, you give to those who are in need. And you never know how they may feel about you or what they may give back to you. You just never know. But to this day, they be talking about, yeah, Mr. O, you know what I mean? These cats are turning 40 now. I'm like, 40? What the fuck? How can y'all be 40? They in their 40s. Now, it's bad that they still on the block, but you know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, man, it's this whole situation we talking about is crazy. We're about to do these do the poll question. Then we're gonna get on up out of here. But yeah, man, this we talking about fatherhood, we talking about manhood. The two have to go together. But we can't always audit them the same way. The way you audit manhood is one thing, and the way you audit fatherhood is a whole different thing. But help is help. And you either helped or you didn't. When it all comes down to it, did you help?
You know what my goal as a father is, other than being a father to my child, right? My children still, is being a father to these young kids on the street that's willing to listen. You know what I mean? To the next generation, to try to guide them in the right direction. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that we still have to, regardless of what we feel, we can't sit back and say this generation is lost. They only lost if we allow them to be lost. You know what I mean? So I think that I put everybody to the test, to every man that's in the chat, and also me and you, to continuously do what we do to try to help the next generation to be great men. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to all the fathers out there. You know what I mean? Hopefully the ones that aren't active will turn that around. And there is a chance for any men who are fathers to turn that around. There's a chance for any men who are fathers who are not active in their children's lives. There's a chance to turn that around. And it's my hope that they will, you know.
And I don't think we give a shout out to all the stepfathers. Matter of fact, I don't like the term stepfather because when you're I put stepfather on it, but when you're in that person's life for years and years, the term stepfather it's not I don't think it's a respect thing, but we do know there's a birth father. So I'm going to call you the other father. I'm giving a major shout out to the other fathers. the non-biological fathers, the ones that stepped in when the other fathers didn't want to be there, the ones that wiped the tears, the ones that put them on the health insurance, the ones that took them to the doctor appointments, they took them on the school trips, that bought them the clothes. When the other father didn't show up, you was there to take out a daddy daughter, a daddy Sunday, just to compensate for what he didn't do. I shout y'all out and commend y'all, and I'm giving y'all a hand clap right now. God bless y'all, and I commend y'all on everything y'all do, man. Keep doing what y'all doing, man.
Yeah, when it comes to stepfather, I use that for identification purposes.
Most definitely, most definitely. That's why I said that's why I said that it depends on the longevity. You know what I mean? Because one thing about it is that there's a difference between a father and a dad. Two different terminologies.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, when I say I only use it for, I use it for identification purposes. You're either a blood related father or you're not. But you're
Mm-hmm.
either a father or you're not. If you are a stepfather, you got to think about the importance of having a stepfather. That means if you're a stepfather, like, so your mom married this man. That ain't a small thing. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot different from just my mom's boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
or the man that she used to see. He used to see, but sometimes he can be the man that you used to see. But that was the one. That was the man that was like a father to
Let
me.
me get this phone call, son. You know what it is.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we gonna do these birthday shout outs. Not birthday shout outs. Let's do the poll question. The poll question is rate the interaction between your I don't believe I wrote this wrong. Rate the interaction between your mother and your father when you were growing up. I say you mother and your father. See, that's the pitfall of having technical difficulties in the beginning of the show. You know what I mean? Now I'm a dummy. But anyway, rate the interaction between your mother and your father when you were growing up. All right, so 46%, which is the overwhelming majority, said good and loving. And that's good to hear. That's very, very inspiring. 8% said disagreement, separate, but cooperative. Not bad. 15% said didn't get along well. It was a troubled relationship. And 31%, which is a good percentage, says father wasn't in my life. God dang. Well, unfortunately, that has to be one of the entries. It has to be. And that's something that we have to deal with. But even with that being the situation, the good part is that we have a chance to do better. Whether you are a father that does better with your children, does a better job than your children, than your father did with you, or whether you are a mother who made sure that you chose better for your children, which is a hard job. It's a hard job being a woman and trying to make sure that you choose a father that's going to be there for your children, because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. But it's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Think it won't. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Did y'all know that today is the first day of Cancer? Gemini's ended yesterday. They over. It's Cancer time. Cancer. Can you believe this? They're all going to be Gemini Cancers. It's Cancer. Starts today. Gemini, y'all had a good run. Cancers. How many legs does a crab have? Is it like a spider? The claw. All the crabs I've eaten, I never counted the legs. Let me see. How many legs does a crab have? 10 legs. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious June 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Rita White Tayali? Happy birthday. Excuse me. Happy birthday. And also Joseph Brown, Rankine, Brianna. It's really Brianna Rankine. Okay. Antonia Murray. And she's raising money for the fundraiser for American Heart Association. Ty McMillan, Gaia Love, Alicia Burns, Amina Adebayo, Shari Lynn Harris, Kevin Williams, and last but not least, my girl Deirdre Waters. I'm going to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious June 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, yeah, universally, all of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud, just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing, you do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings, you do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, yo, Father's Day, Father's Way, manhood is the way. I don't know. I just want to give a shout out to all of the fathers out there. All of the ones that are struggling and the ones that may look like they're winning, but they're struggling on the inside. We're just trying to make sure that we fulfill our responsibilities and show that love. And for those of y'all who have done that, it can't be discounted. Shout out to all of those who have had a good father in their lives and the ones who didn't. For the ones who didn't, remember that you always have an opportunity to make things better for your own children. Shout out to people who don't have any children. Whether you have children or not, you still got a father. And you've probably watched fatherhood from your peers, your family, co-workers, clubs, organizations, whatever. Just out here in the world. Fatherhood and manhood can be judged in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. But one thing is for sure is that when you get into that arena, you're going to have to make decisions. And those decisions are going to be vastly unpopular by the masses. But you're still here and you still got a chance. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, Monday going into Tuesday at 1 a.m. in the morning. So make sure y'all come on through. I want to give a shout out to my own dad. Both of them. That's Henry Roscoe Blue. That was my stepdad. And Milton Douglas McIntyre, my biological dad. Yo, I know that y'all are here watching over me, guiding me, protecting me, and making sure that I stay in the game the way I'm supposed to. And the only reason I'm able to speak the way I speak, to do the things that I do, and to feel the way that I feel is because of the love and the attention and the guidance that y'all gave me. And I am eternally grateful for that. And I'm actually humbled by that, because I know that I had a lot more than a lot of people could have ever have dreamed about. So with that being said, y'all, holler at y'all tomorrow. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button before y'all get on out of here. And I want y'all to have a perfect and wonderful rest of the afternoon. And happy Father's Day, y'all. Peace.